Okay, so besides Bernoulli's principle, we have another force that acts on the aircraft that creates lift, and it's one of Newton's laws. And basically what it states is that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And this reaction comes from what we call a high angle attack. So I'll explain the high angle attack, then I'll explain how Newton's law comes into play. So I'll draw our airfoil again, kind of in a climbing profile this time. So we have what's called a chord line on a airfoil, and it starts from the very tip of the leading edge to the very tip of the trailing edge. If you draw an imaginary line between those 2 points, okay, and then that creates one line of the angle, and the other angle, or the other line, would come from what we call the relative wind. So even on a day when there's no wind, the wind that's created from the aircraft moving forward, or the path the aircraft's going, creates a wind. So as the wind hits the wing, the relative wind that is, you can see it creates an angle. Alright? And it's that angle that allows the wind to be deflected off the wing. And that downward force, if there's a downward force, it has to be an equal and opposite reaction according to Newton's law. So that's what gives us our lift. And one thing about lift to know is that it's always going to happen perpendicular to the wing. So your lift, no matter what, is always going to be this direction. So if the aircraft is bank, so let me draw a little, we got our airplane, alright, and we got our wings. It's always going to be perpendicular. Alright, and if we have bank, it's always going to be perpendicular. And one of the byproducts of lift is drag. Drag is always going to be, what's the word?